Welcome to the Social Regressive. Today we're taking a look at a prototype scope leveling tool. I'm going to show you how this thing works, and then I'd like to get your feedback to know if this is something that you would like in your garage. The designer is considering making a full run of these, and we just want to see what you guys think of it. One of the big difficulties of leveling a scope is finding out what level is supposed to be in the first place and then maintaining that. A lot of us are going to have these either Picatinny or Weaver style kind of flats here on our rifles, and that's going to make things a little bit easy. You can just pop the spirit level, and this is actually the second section of this whole device. You can see that this splits into two. You have this kind of archway thing right here, and then you can actually take the level out. You have these little pins to line it up. So we'll take a look at this piece in a second, but with this one, okay, we can use that to find level. So I'm going to assume that that is level on this rifle, and okay, so everything's looking good there, and I've already locked this thing down in the vise. A lot of folks are just going to be going off a bipod or some other type of semi-solid rest to get this thing level, and that's especially where this product is going to come in handy, because with this you can kind of recheck at intervals. So yeah, we'll assume that's flat. And now certain rifles, bases, things like that, they're not going to have a flat right here, like some of these bases where you kind of have tip-off rings or rings that you kind of do a half turn to lock them into place. They may not have something like this, and so you have to assume level perhaps based on the ring itself. And so let's go ahead and get this thing in there. This is just a Weaver, and you can see that it has these two flats right here. I'm going to go ahead and torque this thing down, and we're going to see how this level compares to what we had on the rifle. Okay, so I've got that ring torqued in place. Okay, and that's pretty close. From here, I'm going to assume that this position on the spirit level is going to be my level position, so if something does shift later on, I can just assume that position and everything's going to work out okay. I can rebalance everything out. So let's go ahead and get this second one on. The scope that we're playing with today is a Mueller 8.5 to 25 by 44 millimeter mil-dot scope. Great scope, highly recommended, especially if you're on a tight budget and you want to have a good milling type of reticle in your scope. This is a really nice one. I've used this for a long time, quite nice. And so at this point, what I would be doing is I would be just kind of loosely attaching this top strap to this right here, and I would be finding my eye relief. So I'd be working this thing forward and backward until I got to the point where I need to be. So now there are a couple different ways to level a scope. You can use the plumb bob hanging from something, so you kind of get that perfect gravity line. And then there is the method where maybe you use a flat, like say the top of the turret right here, and you use that as your level, and then you just go from there. And with a lot of scopes, this is going to work just fine. The plumb bob is always going to work, assuming that the reticle and the mechanical stuff are all perfectly aligned. I actually have seen some scopes where they aren't, but not to overcomplicate things, we're just going to go with the kind of top mount flat method right here. It's quicker, but this product will help out with both of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little archway part right here, and I'm going to put this spanning this part of the ring right here. And we already established that this thing is pretty flat, and if I take this bubble level and then remount it in there, okay, that's going to tell me if anything has shifted. It has not. So I can just take this and I can mount this on top of this flat section right here in order to get my level. And one thing that's kind of handy, since I'm going to be twisting this whole thing, is if you just take a rubber band and then thread it through these notches that have been cut out on the top side here. So all you have to do is just thread this around the scope and then attach it here. There we go. That should make it so that as I spin this, I can get the exact same level. So that should be good right there, and I can lock this thing down. And if I feel like I need to check everything all over again, I can pop this out, put it back on this little archway piece, and we should be good to go. And again, if you are using that plumb bob level, then or that method, then this will continue to work as well. It'll make sure that your rifle is maintaining its level. So what do you think? Is this a product that you would consider buying? Let me know in the comments. And if you have any other ideas for this product, any comments, suggestions, just let me know down below, and we'll get that to the designer. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Even if you didn't like this particular content, go ahead and subscribe. There's probably something coming that's more up your alley. Check out this playlist right here. This is going to have videos in a similar vein to what you just watched. These two videos we cherry-picked for you. And finally, the Social Regressive is on Patreon. So you can become a patron of the destructive arts and earn some goodies while helping us to provide high-quality videos just by kicking us a few bucks a month. Thanks a bunch for your patronage.